Hey beautiful people! On today's episode of So Quaint, I'll be spilling the tea on how to sew this floor-length maxi skirt. It's super chic and elegant and perfect for semi-formal and formal occasions. The first thing I'm doing is cutting my waistband. For reference, my fabric is 42 inches long. This will be the length of the skirt. My waistband is 3 inches thick when folded, so in total it's 6 inches thick. I am cutting this area off, and this is going to be reserved for the waistband of my skirt. On my waistband, I'll also be using Pellon fusible interfacing in order to give it more structure and thickness. Here I am measuring the waist circumference plus an extra inch for allowance, and I'm cutting a piece of Pellon that's the same size as my waistband fabric. I placed the wrong side of the Pellon interfacing on the wrong side of my waistband fabric, and here I am pressing it together. When you're doing this, you want to hold your iron on the area for at least 5 seconds to make sure that it fuses properly. Next, I folded my waistband in half like this and gave it another press. If you have any excess fabric overlapping here, this is the perfect time to cut all of that away because your waistband needs to be proportionate in all ways. I'm measuring here to just make sure that my waistband is 3 inches, and I'm using my ruler to draw some lines that will make it leveled because it wasn't exactly 3 inches. I am cutting away the excess beyond the lines that I drew. With that being done, I can now unfold my waistband and fold just the bottom edge towards the wrong side by a half of an inch, and I am pressing here. I'm just using my tape measure to make sure that it's half of an inch all the way. I'm using my ruler to measure and mark 1/4 of an inch on this side of the waistband that has not been folded. Then I am cutting along that line that I just drew, leaving only 1/4 of an inch on this area. This area would have measured 1/2 of an inch before cutting. After all that, I like to give my waistband one final press. Now we're going to work on the body of the skirt. For reference, my fabric is 103 inches wide. I'm using my serger to finish the top, bottom, and sides of my fabric. Then I'm going to run 2 lines of stitches that are parallel to each other along the top edge of my fabric. The first line of stitches is about 1/8 of an inch away from the top, and then the second line of stitches is about 1/8 of an inch away from the first line of stitches. I've separated the top threads from the bottom threads. I'm holding on to my 2 top threads and gently sliding the fabric along in order to create gathers for the waist of the skirt. Be careful not to pull too tight here because your threads might pop, and if your threads pop, you're gonna have to stitch again. I like to use my waistband as a guide for how much I should gather. Once the waist of your skirt matches your waistband, you want to just evenly distribute your gathers. So you don't want to have any gaps on this end and then lots of gathers on that end. Because of the gathers, I like to place my pins vertically instead of horizontally when I'm pinning the waistband and the waist of the skirt together. I'm stitching these 2 pieces together twice. The first line of stitches is 1/4 of an inch away from the top, and this is just to secure the skirt in order to make sure that the gathers don't move. And then the second line of stitches is 1/2 of an inch away from the top edge. If you're liking this video so far, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more sewing tutorials. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. Now I'm gonna add the zipper to my skirt, and for this I am using an 8-inch zipper. Starting with the left side of the zipper, I am putting it right sides together with the raw edge up the skirt and pinning it into place. The top of the zipper is in line with the fold of the waistband, and I'm making sure that my waistband measures the same on both sides. Now I'm pinning the other side of my zipper and skirt right sides together, making sure that the top of the zipper is also in alignment with the fold of the waistband. I'm now using my zipper foot attachment to stitch the zipper to the skirt. It's going to be essential for you to move your zipper slide out of the way whenever you're stitching, and it's also going to be important for you to stop your stitches around this area that's right above that metal bar. I'm now folding my waistband in the opposite direction so I can then stitch along the zipper teeth using my zipper foot attachment still. Then I'm clipping away the excess fabric at the corners of the waistband so I can turn them out to be squared. I'm now pinning the fabric below my zipper right sides together, and I'm stitching with a 1/2 inch seam allowance here from the bottom all the way up to where the metal bar is. I am pressing that seam flat using my iron, and I can move on to finishing the waistband. In order to do this, I am pinning it into place so that it will be steady while I stitch in the ditch. This pretty much means stitching in that space between the waistband and the waist of the skirt, kind of making the stitches invisible. In the process of stitching, my waistband got a little bit crushed, so I'm giving it a final press here. To finish the hem of my skirt, I am folding twice by 1/4 inch to the wrong side and stitching all the way around. For a neat finish, I'm going over the hem with my iron to press it flat, and then the final touch is to add a hook and eye closure. I'm using a curved needle to stitch this here. I just find that it's so much easier, especially given the length of my nails. If you want a video on how to stitch a hook and eye closure, let me know in the comments down below. If you watch this video to the end, I want you to comment down below. I can't wait to make this maxi skirt. Check out these videos next for more of Sew Quaint.